Picture this. It's payday and your bank account finally looks healthy. But just as quickly, the excitement fades away as you watch the money slip away, leaving you anxious and overwhelmed. The rent, bills, and unexpected expenses hit, and you're left wondering, how the heck am I going to stretch this paycheck further, let alone save for the future? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. The struggle to manage payday can feel like an endless cycle of stress and frustration. But what if there was a way to break this cycle? In this video, I'm going to show you a powerful 8-step payday routine that will help you take control of your finances. Step 1 of that routine is establish your baseline. Imagine living in a constant state of anxiety, living paycheck to paycheck with no idea where your money is going. Unfortunately, this is the reality for 50% of Canadians and 65% of Americans. There is a phenomenon known as the ostrich effect. It is a cognitive bias where people avoid information that they perceive as negative or anxiety-inducing. And this bias can drive some people to avoid confronting their finances, fearing the negative reality they might uncover. But what if avoiding your finances is the very thing keeping you trapped? Without a clear understanding of where your money is going, it's not possible to make meaningful changes or plan a secure future. Think of it like living in a dark, damp room, unaware of the mold that is growing around you. The only way to reclaim control is to shine some light on the situation to understand or get a scope of the problem. So, where do you start? Begin by downloading 3 to 6 months of previous bank statements. Then break down the spending into needs and everything else. Needs are essential items like rent, mortgage payments, groceries, and insurance. Calculate what this category represents as a percentage of your income. Ideally, your needs should account for 60% or less of your income. If this figure is higher, it means that your lifestyle is very much precariously tied to necessities that you can't easily change. To bring down this amount or this metric, consider ways to boost your income by, let's say, renting out a room or taking on side gigs. Alternatively, you could also cut your expenses by renegotiating bills and taking other measures. Next, scrutinize your remaining expenses. As an example, many people overspend on subscriptions, with an average spend of $203 per month for Canadians and $219 for Americans. Ask yourself this question: do you really need to subscribe to Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max all at once? Do you really need 50 gigabytes of data on your cell plan? The answer is most likely not. So cancel or reduce what you can live without. Establishing this baseline is your first step towards reclaiming control of your finances. With a clearer picture of your spending, you're ready to move on to step 2, which is set up a crisis solution fund. Consider this. A sudden $500 expense arises and you find yourself scrambling for a solution. This scenario is unfortunately all too common, with 1 in 4 Canadians unable to cover such an unexpected cost. And nearly half of Americans face a similar reality, unable to handle a $1,000 emergency expense. When you least expect it, life has a way of throwing curveballs your way, like a broken water heater or a leaky faucet. But what if you could shield yourself from these financial shocks? Establishing a 1-month emergency fund can provide the safety net you need. This fund should cover essential living costs like rent, mortgage payments, groceries, and other necessities. To start, set aside 1 month's worth of expenses in a separate savings account. Keeping this money separate from your other expenses avoids or reduces the temptation to dip into it for non-essential purchases. As an added bonus, you can keep this amount in a high-yield savings account. This is especially lucrative, with many high-yield savings accounts currently offering north of 5%. Once you've secured this 1-month emergency fund, you will have created a crucial buffer against life's unexpected financial hits. With this breathing space, you're ready to move on to step 3, which is pay off your high-interest debt. High interest debt is like an anchor weighing you down, draining your cash and stalling your progress. The relentless interest charges make it nearly impossible to get ahead. Confronting this financial burden head on and developing a strategy to eliminate it is crucial. If you've diligently followed steps 1 and 2, you should have freed up some extra cash now. Let's say you have an additional $500 each month because of the previous steps. This money can be a powerful tool to attack high interest debt such as credit card balances, student loans, and car loans. The order in which you tackle this debt is up to you, but the two common methods are the avalanche method and the snowball method. The avalanche method involves making minimum payments on all debts and directing extra payments to the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that debt is cleared, you can apply those extra payments to the next highest interest rate debt, continuing this process until all your debts are paid off. This method is mathematically efficient, minimizing the total interest paid over time. On the other hand, the snowball method involves making minimum payments on all debts and directing the same extra payments to the smallest debt first. After paying off the smallest debt, you move to the next smallest. This approach provides quick wins and a sense of accomplishment, keeping you motivated as you see your debts disappear one by one. Both methods have their advantages, so choose the one that best suits your personality. For example, I prefer the snowball method because seeing progress gives me a sense of accomplishment. And using this approach, I have paid off my car loan in 3 years and my mortgage in under 8. With your high interest debt under control, you've removed a significant obstacle to your financial progress. Now you're ready to move on to step 4, which is to take advantage of your employer pension contribution match. Imagine leaving free money on the table every single year. This is what happens when you don't take full advantage of your employer's pension contribution match. Many employers offer to match your pension contributions dollar for dollar up to a certain limit. This essentially doubles your savings without any additional effort on your part. To capitalize on this, you need to maximize your contributions to get the full pension match from your employer. Setting up or adjusting your contribution amount is fairly straightforward. Simply contact your HR department to make the change. Once the changes are made, the contribution amount will be automatically deducted from your paycheck. Initially, you will notice that the paycheck is slightly smaller, but remember that there's a tax advantage to these contributions. And this is because most countries allow you to fund your pension with pre-tax dollars, which reduces your taxable income. For example, if your annual income is $50,000 and you contribute $2,500 with employer match, your pension account will have $5,000 and your taxable income will have dropped to $47,500. And this can lead to a lower tax bill and possibly a refund when you file your taxes. By taking this step, you're not only securing your financial future, but also maximizing your current financial benefits. With this foundation in place, you're ready to move on to step 5, which is setting up an emergency fund. Imagine this scenario: a sudden job loss, a medical emergency, or an unexpected home repair. These scenarios happen more often than you might think. A 1-month crisis fund, while necessary, will not be enough to keep you afloat in these scenarios. A bigger buffer will give you more flexibility. So in the unfortunate event that you ever face a layoff, you can take the time to look for a job that you like rather than taking on the first one that comes by. This is why I recommend saving up another 6 months of essential living costs. If 6 months seems daunting, start with 3 months and then work your way up to 6. The methodology to complete the step is the same as step 2. With an emergency fund set up, you can proceed to step 6, which is invest in tax-free or tax-advantaged savings accounts. Many people overlook the advantages of tax-free or tax-advantaged savings accounts, potentially sacrificing thousands of dollars in savings or tax refunds. In Canada, the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, or RRSP, allows you to reduce your taxable income by the amount you contribute into it each year. This reduction could lead to a sizable tax refund. The money in your RRSP can then be invested in stocks, ETFs, and other assets, growing completely tax-free until you withdraw it in retirement. However, there is an annual limit on how much you can contribute into this account. The tax-free savings account, or TFSA, is another vehicle to invest in stocks, ETFs, and other assets, just like the RRSP. And just like the RRSP, the assets within this vehicle are completely sheltered from tax. But there are two key differences between these accounts. The first being that in a TFSA, you pay no taxes even when you withdraw the money. The second being that the TFSA is funded with after-tax cash, which means that your taxable income does not change. So sadly, no tax refunds in this scenario. And similar to the RRSP, there is a limit on how much you can contribute into the TFSA each year. Taking advantage of these accounts can significantly enhance your financial future by reducing your tax burden and allowing your investments to grow more efficiently and effectively. Do a simple Google search to find similar tax-advantaged programs in your country. With this strategy in place, you're ready to move on to step 7, which is invest in yourself. Your 20s and early 30s are a pivotal time for growth and self-discovery. It's a period to learn, explore, and shape the person you want to become. This decade and a bit more is your prime opportunity to invest in yourself, laying the foundation for a successful and fulfilling future. During my 20s, I embraced every opportunity to learn, expand my skills, and broaden my horizons. I tried different jobs, met new people, and devoured books to enrich my understanding of the world. But perhaps the most important investment that I made was in acquiring new skills. Continuous learning is the key to success and wealth building. In my own journey, I focused on obtaining my CPA designation and delved into various industries from real estate to asset management to financial services. Along the way, I pursued additional qualifications like the CFA designation. This one habit helped me triple my income over a 3-year period. And every bit of pay increase can help you supercharge every step of this payday routine. And that is all possible because I continually invest in myself. Finally, we come to step 8, which is spend money on what is important to you. If you've followed through with the previous 7 steps, give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. It's now time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. While the earlier steps focused on cutting back, discipline, and delayed gratification, this step is all about embracing the joy of living. Consider allocating a portion of your budget each year for something special, a well-deserved vacation perhaps. For example, I budget a certain amount for a nice vacation each year. Last year, I spent $3,000 for a week-long trip to Nova Scotia. This year, I've budgeted $5,000 for a trip to Portugal. The essence of this payday routine is not just to achieve financial security, but also to lay the groundwork for a life of fulfillment and joy. By rewarding yourself and indulging in experiences that bring you happiness, you're creating a life that aligns with your dreams and aspirations. So go ahead and treat yourself. You've earned it. So there you have it, a comprehensive payday routine designed to transform your financial life. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.